So, this is our second to last lesson of the chapter. We are learning a third equation here. So I need headphones out. You guys will need Desmos probably today, but I don't want to see YouTube or anything on your Chromebooks. I'm taking it and you're going to use a crusty calculator. Oh yeah, it'll be real fun. Alex, would you turn around and this one please? Oh, keep going. Keep going. All the way. There you go. And make sure you got all your headphones out. Keith. Keith. How's it, man? That lesson? I know, man. It's super fun. I know how excited you are. Alright, so our third equation we're learning to find, or to represent lines, is called standard form. And it's, honestly, I think it's probably the easiest, but we use it the least. I don't know why that is, but it is. So, standard form looks like ax plus by equals c. That is standard form. Ax plus by equals c. Alright?
It's math.
That's weird looking. I don't know.
Keith, did you have me that extra Chromebook in your desk so I can plug it in? Thank you. Alright, so standard form. Ax plus by equals c. Where, and actually, I got this wrong. A, b, and c are not whole numbers. They are integers. And we got to think back a little bit. Anybody remember what an integer is? You got to think back to like our very second lesson of the entire year.
Yeah, no.
You can just put int if you want. No. So an integer, all that an integer is means it doesn't have a decimal. Integers have no decimals. They can be positive, they can be negative, but there's no decimal. So, if I'm going to look at this standard form equation right here, 2x plus 4y equals 8. If I'm going to look at a, b, and c, a is 2 right here, b is 4, c is 8. And this is standard form because there's no decimals or fractions. We don't want any decimals or fractions for standard form. So, standard form is a little different. We have x and y, right? We had x and y in our other equations too. What don't we have in standard form that the other two equations we learned have? We're missing a letter. It's got x and y like normal. What's the letter we're missing? M, right? Which is slope. M is our slope, right? Standard form doesn't use slope. So there is no slope in this equation. So we're going to make lines, they have a slope, but we don't care about slope for this one. What standard form is all about is finding your x and y intercepts. So, if I have a graph right here, I'm going to have to make some real terrible axes. Oh yeah, real bad. So I've got a graph right here. If I want to know a y-intercept, that is where it crosses the y-axis, right? What do you think the x-intercept is?
Something.
If y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, what's the x-intercept? You're making a motion there, Zoe. What's that? Yeah, what axis is that?
X-axis.
X-axis. Yep. So, my y-intercept we talked about in y equals mx plus b. Remember, b is where it crosses the y-axis. The x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. So, standard form is all about finding these intercepts. So, for example, this green line right here was the line I was graphing. Standard form is all about this point right here and this point right here. That's what it is all about. So, we're going to find the x and y intercepts. And they're not really super tough to find. If I'm going to find the x-intercept, and I'm going to look at 2x plus 4y equals 12, I'm going to find the x-intercept. To do that, I'm going to ignore y and solve for x. So if I'm going to find my x-intercept, I'm going to ignore my y, I'm going to solve for x. So I'm just going to rewrite it here. I get 2x plus 4y equals 12. When I say ignore y, I mean I don't care what it is because I'm not even going to look at it. all I'm going to do is look at 2x equals 12. If I have 2x equals 12, how would I solve for x?
You divide by 2.
Divide by 2, right? Because I'm timesing by 2 right here.
Yeah.
So to get rid of I got to divide. When I divide by 2, I get x equals 6. This is my x-intercept. This is where my graph will cross the x-axis when x is 6. If I'm going to find my y-intercept, where my graph crosses the y-axis, I'm going to do basically the same thing, except this time, I'm going to ignore my x. I'm going to solve it for y. So I'm just going to rewrite my equation here real quick. I'm going to go 2x plus 4y equals 12. And just like before, when I ignore x, I don't care what it is, I'm going to cross it out. And if I'm going to solve it for y, what do I need to do to get y by itself? We're going to divide by 4 on both sides. And I'm going to get y equals 12 divided by 4 is 3. This is my y-intercept. Yeah.
What's the point of writing the x if you're just going to ignore it?
Just so I can show you crossing it out. So like when you go to do these, if you just want to write like 2x equals 12, 4y equals 12, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't want to, I wanted to show you that I was crossing it out.
Alright.
And that's all it takes for standard form. And we're actually going to practice graphing these in just a little bit. Right now we're just going to practice finding the intercepts. So we found our x-intercept by ignoring y and solving. We found the y-intercept by ignoring x and then solving. So we're going to do a couple more of these. So if I'm going to find the x and y intercepts of 3x plus 4y equals 24, I'm going to start with my x-intercept. So if I'm going to solve for my x-intercept, I'm going to get my x here. I'm going to ignore the y for the x-intercept, and I'm just going to go equals 24. And then, Dylan, how would I solve this for x?
Divide 3 by 24.
Yep. And turn around again.
Huh?
Turn around. Keep it going. A little bit more. A little more. Oh, come on, man.
Maybe like a centimeter,
Maybe like a another 15 degrees.
215 degrees.
A little more. Okay.
Are you sure you don't
so
want to
close.
add them?
So close. Alright, there you go. Perfect. Oh, so moving.
And I hit
Alright,
my shoulder on
We actually divide by 3. You accidentally said it backwards, Dylan, but no biggie. You know what you did. We're going to divide by 3 on both sides. We're going to get x equals 8. This is my x-intercept. Right here. And x is 8. And to find my y-intercept, basically the same thing, except I'm going to ignore x. I'm going to ignore my x, and I'm going to go 4y equals 24. Drayden, how do I solve for y?
Divide 4.
Yep, we're going to divide by 4 on both sides.
So you ignore x on one half and then you ignore y
Yep.
on the other half. Okay,
Yep,
I get
that's
it
what
now.
it is. So on one half you ignore the y, the other half you ignore the x. And the order you do it in doesn't matter. So if you want to ignore x first and solve for y, it doesn't matter. And we're going to get y equals, after we divide by 4, 6. And this is our y-intercept. I'm abbreviating here because I don't want to write out intercept. So not super tough, you just got to make sure you do one and then the other. Ignore y on one, ignore x on the other one. Do you guys want to, you want to try it in class, or do you want to do another practice together?
I want to do it in class.
No.
In class. Shut up, Richie.
In class,
Shut up,
Richie.
Richie.
In class. Alright, try B. I want you to try B. Richie, I'll help you out. So I want you to do part B in the box right here. I want you to find the x and y intercepts.
Oh my god.
Alright, so we're going to start by finding x-intercept. So what do I need to ignore if I'm going to find the x-intercept? So we're going to go 3y equals 12. Or excuse me, 3x equals 12.
What's up, Jared?
And solve for x.
Ugh.
That works like pepper spray.
I had to spit.
4, right? And you're going to need a decimal on one of these answers, I think. So
Oh, she looks pretty good. Looking at the rosewood.
And then we can do 8y equals.
Yep, just like that.
Okay, now I got it. I got it now.
Not too bad.
That one is-
After the lesson.
After the lesson.
I'll give you about another 30 seconds maybe.
What? No, how about like 2 minutes? I'm still trying to divide the first problem.
You still typing that in?
Or I didn't have it on the.
For one of them, you don't even need a calculator. That's 12 divided by 3.
This.
We have our play thing in this house class, and I didn't make my buffalo outfit.
That's on Wednesday.
That's on Thursday, because Juice is not here.
No, she's only doing
Oh, yeah,
you guys
for
on
us, not for
Thursday.
you guys.
Us.
I just had
Wait,
that so
wait,
Raven
we're doing-
moment where like
we're
I
doing
was
ours
looking at the
today.
picture, and it was like I saw my ass and I was like.
Well, you're not doing much. Just
You guys are weird. Alright, so we're gonna have somebody do the first one for us. Jared.
I want to do it. Can I do the second one?
Calculator, choose you. Jared, find and intercept. You're gonna pick which one you're gonna find. You're gonna pick. Because the calculator chose you. Alright, Jared's gonna find one of these. You're still not sitting. What you doing? Fuck you.
What is that?
It's a thief.
That is not.
Alright,
That's
you got
not
3,
even
right?
close to 3.
That's a fancy 3. It's got a nice little tail on it.
What? It's
Man,
turned
you're
to
being
be some.
so careful about this, Jared. It's weird.
It looks like a mermaid for some reason.
What's a big
Oh
one?
yeah, sure.
If you say so. Alright.
Or
Kind of looks like a. Kind of looks like the.
Alright, keep going, Jared.
It looks like something you write. Oh.
Jared,
Divided
shut up.
by-
I was
That's fine.
just gonna write down.
You turned it.
Oh my god.
Right with me. Yep. So we're gonna divide by 3 on both sides. So he's finding our x-intercept. Being so careful about it. I save. And he's gonna divide by 3 on both sides, and we're gonna get x equals.
I'm making so much
Stick the landing.
Stick it.
Shut up, Jordan.
We've only played like 2,000.
Well, that's
Why are you freaking out?
Stick it, Richie. I said stick it.
And we get x equals 4. I don't know why that 4 was tiny all year, the numbers were huge, but that's okay.
Stick it.
I don't know why I wrote
That's
so
okay.
big with that.
Alright, Allison, find the other one for me. Calculator children.
No, whatever. You know, I made walls.
Yeah, make that former YouTuber write it down.
Alright, so she's finding our y-intercept, and to do that, she's writing it down a little weird, but that's okay.
What the?
What?
We're gonna go 8y equals, no, just keep going, keep going.
Actually, well, it kind of looks like the.
We're gonna go
voice.
8y equals 12, and we're gonna divide by 8 on both sides, and we're gonna get a decimal this time, which is fine. Let's do y equals, put y equals.
That's
Really,
close.
aren't you?
8 divided by 1.
divided by
I think you actually divided by 1, you got 12.
I don't know who won.
You divide by 8 on both sides. Let me see.
Hey man, I think I
Wait,
just
wait,
think
wait.
What are you doing?
You got 1.5.
I did?
Okay.
Or are
Maybe
you looking at Mr. Gordon's Just get that one for this one.
Softball this weekend.
Oh, how did I
Yeah,
get 4 then?
I don't know. You got it. That's the X.
Oh yeah, my work.
You said-
No, it's already mine.
That's what you said.
Yeah, we skipped this one.
Why?
Because we didn't just, I don't know, you guys doing fine.
There was a dude.
Alright, so we are also going to be graphing these.
God.
So, and they're actually the easiest ones to graph, I think. So, we're going to graph x minus 2y equals negative 2. So, our first step is to find our x and y intercept. So, I'm going to start by finding the x. I'm going to ignore y and go x equals negative 2. Do I need to solve for this? No, it's done. It's done. Do I need to get the x by itself? No, it's already by itself. Alright, I also need to find my y-intercept. And when you do this, be careful. This is a minus 2y, right?
Yeah.
So I have to go negative 2y equals negative 2. So I can't just ignore the minus right there. And, Sophia, how am I going to solve for this y?
I know.
I'm asking you, Richie. How do I solve for y right here? Yep. Don't forget your negative. We're going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. And we are going to get y equals negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive 1.
Oh, no.
Alright, so to graph this, here's what we're doing. It's actually pretty simple. So this x equals is my x-intercept, right? That's where my graph crosses the x-axis. My x-axis is right here. I'm going to go to -2 on my x-axis, and I'm going to put a dot. So, -1, -2, I'm going to put a dot right there. My y equals, but yeah.
That's an x-intercept, and where's that number?
This?
Yeah.
That's an arrow pointing right here.
Oh.
I don't know why you couldn't tell, Richie. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's so small though.
Yeah, it's true. Alright, so I went to -2 on my x-axis and I put a dot. Now I got -1, -2, and I put a dot right there. My y equals 1, that's my y-intercept. Put a nice arrow so Richie can see it. No problem. Y is equals 1, right? I have my y-axis right here.
Oh.
I'm going to go to 1 on my y-axis. So 1, and I'm going to put a dot. I got 2 dots now, right?
Dude, this is so complicated.
Connect them.
Dos dato. It's like rocket science stuff.
Oh, it's not that rocket science. You got this. You're going to get this.
I'll get that off.
We're going to keep going through it. Don't worry.
I messed up my line.
So, on standard form, you find your x-intercept, you find your y-intercept, you put your 2 dots and connect them. That's it. You don't follow slope. You don't have to do anything like that. You just make your dots and connect them, and you're done.
Wait, it'd be -1, so you go down 1.
That's a positive one. -2 divided by -2 is a positive.
I'm confused.
We're going to do another one.
We're all
Don't worry.
When you divide it,
You
can you
do it now.
explain it to me?
What's -2 divided by -2?
Positive
Now I know how
So I went up 1 and down. Alright, we're going to keep doing these, so don't worry. If you're still confused, it's okay. We're going to keep practicing.
Ooh.
Okay, just end it here.
Oh yeah, let my brain rest.
Nah, man.
Been
We gotta go
working
through this.
all
We are
week.
almost done. Almost.
Wait, there's one?
Yeah,
almost
we're just
done.
practicing today.
What?
And
Alright.
then-
Okay, so next one. 2x plus 5y equals 20. We need to find our intercepts. Willem, how am I going to find my x-intercept?
2x equals 20.
Equals 20, right? And turn around, man.
Oh.
You're bugging me today. You're all twisted. I don't like it. We're going to divide by 2, right? Divide by 2 and get x equals 10. Alright, that's my x-intercept because it's x equals, right? I got my x-axis over here. I'm going to go to 10 on this x-axis and I'm going to put a dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to put a dot right there. Okay?
Wait, oh!
Everybody with me so far? I found what x equals and I went to where that is on my x-axis.
Wait, so is this like Rise Over Run or something like that?
No.
Run over run.
No. Because it's just 2 dots. We are just doing 2 dots and we're connecting them. We're doing our intercepts.
Okay.
So there's no slope. It's just 2 dots and we connect them and that's it.
That's boring.
It's easy. Alright, if I'm going to find my y-intercept, what am I going to do, Zoe?
Ignore X.
Thanks, Zoe. And we're going to go 5y equals 20, right? Zoe, how am I going to solve for this y?
You divide by.
Yeah. And what do I get?
You get 4. Or y
Yeah.
equals 4.
We get y equals 4. Okay, this is my y-intercept. So over here on my y-axis, I'm going to go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put a dot. Okay, I got my 2 dots, right? For standard form, it's kind of nice. I don't need to follow a slope. I don't need to do any of that. I just need to connect my dots now.
What?
I know how to do it now.
Lay down.
That's it. So you find your intercepts, you put them on your graph, and then you connect your dots, and that's it.
Shush. Shush.
Good, good. All right, you guys want to try another one together? You want to do it in class?
No,
No,
it's
you want my own class.
All right.
I-
All right.
Thank you,
all right.
Koki.
All right, I'll calm down. Try this one on your own.
Oh wait, no, I don't know how to do it.
You don't know how?
So find your intercepts, graph them. One of them is going to be a decimal, and that's okay. Just estimate where it is. Just kind of guess where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah. One of them is a decimal. Just guess where it goes. It's fine.
Yeah, that's
No biggie. And your dots are going to be really close together on this one.
Koki, you said there's no decimals.
I said there's no decimals in the first numbers. I can't have like a 0.4 or a
Is this
Point
a
eight.
negative 8?
The answer can be decimals.
Oh no.
What?
That's a negative 8.
Black party. We're going to negative 4 divided by 4
Oh,
is 1.
Use decimal.
You have decimals right there.
Negative 1.
That's true.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, I was thinking something else. No.
Uh-huh. I'm blind.
I so thought that was a stupid mistake, a stupid idea of explaining his job.
Yeah, right there.
Just something like
So these dots are going to be pretty close together, and one of them's going to be a decimal, so you just guess where it should be. That's fine. Just guess where it should be. And then we'll have somebody do this on the board.
Hey.
Who was that?
I'm gonna do it.
Is it a negative 8?
I'll go.
Yes, that was a negative 8. Keith, you need some help getting started?
Alright.
Sure, man.
I need an eraser.
I'll give you about another minute. Not yet, Trayton. We're almost done. We've got to go over it.
Get there, Koki.
I'll give you about 30 more seconds, and somebody's going to get started.
Okay, I don't even know where to put this negative 0.5.
Is that your X or intercept?
That's the one.
I found where to put it.
Stop, Trey. I see what you're trying to do. Stop.
Oh crap, I
You're
didn't
going to go down about halfway between.
Trey, I don't hear you. I don't hear you yelling.
Where's your X?
Dang. I just got what he said.
God
Take
it back,
so.
You don't belong on a drum. You're gonna yell like that.
And
That's so weird.
That's not bad.
Sophie,
Willem,
do the high
guess what?
Trey,
All right, we're going to have somebody get us started. Keith, the calculator has chosen you. Find one of them and put the dot on there.
Oh, where's it at now? I'm gonna choose a color.
Okay, let's go.
Oh my god.
Okay, I guess.
Oh my god.
Yeah, come on, man. I'll help you get started. Oh, don't worry. We're going to get this. All right.
Oh my.
So, we need to get our x-intercept first.
Broskies, really?
What are you, Canadian?
He actually could be.
Alright, Keith. So we're going to get our x-intercept. So, if we're going to get the x-intercept, what are we going to ignore?
Why?
Let him answer. We're going to ignore Keith.
Oh my god.
Hold on, let me get the eraser out.
Be here forever.
So, Koki, where's the redo button?
I know how to do it.
It's actually by the,
Richie, give him a
kind of by the
try.
pi symbol. We're gonna, Keith's going to do this. He's got this.
Oh,
You can do it.
Richie, but I don't know broskies.
I know. I'm going to walk you through it right now. Right now. Alright, Keith. So, we're going to find our x-intercept first. You got to go back to the pin.
Alright.
You got to go back to the pin. You're still on the eraser. There you go. Hang on. So, to find our x-intercept, we're going to ignore y, and we're going to go 4x equals negative 4.
Looks like a flag.
That's a nice x. Keep going.
That's a star.
4x equals negative 4 now. It's because we're going to ignore that negative 8y, because I don't care about it right now. So if I'm going to solve it for x, what do I got to do, Keith? How do I get rid of that 4 out in front of my x?
Would you, just divide
We would. So divide it on both sides. You got it.
by 4?
Yeah.
What the? That looks like a 1 now.
Let's just go with it.
No, it looks like a spy.
Power through.
I don't understand.
Alright, and we're going to get x equals,
know,
what's
and-
negative 4 over 4?
Oh,
Help him out, Jared. What's negative 4 over 4?
Then that'd be negative 1.
Yep, so we get x equals negative 1.
I'm a genius.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Alright, we get x equals negative 1. Okay, so that was an x equals, right, Keith?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my x-axis, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go to negative 1 on this x-axis. So I have 0 right here, negative 1, and put that dot right there.
Okay. Right.
There you go. That is the first part of our answer. For the next one, Willem.
Dang it.
Yes. Thank you for turning around again after I told you not to.
Calculator double.
Naughty psycho.
Alright, Willem, find our y-intercept. It's going to be a little tougher. Just a little bit. Kind of annoying to find because you're going to get a decimal, but you got this. I believe in you.
Okay.
Just over there is fine. Just find a spot. Okay, just go. You got this. So we're going to go with negative 8. Y is going to equal negative 4. And we're going to get a decimal on this one, which is fine. It looks like an
I
H,
just
but we're going
realized
to
that
power
smiley
through.
face right there.
What?
I just saw that smiley face right
We're going to divide by negative 8 on both sides. And we're going to get y equals
How are we still
0.5, but don't forget, negative 0.5.
Yeah.
There you go. Negative 0.5. Alright, no, put your dot. Put your dot.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going to finish it off. So where is negative 0.5 on the y-axis? Yep, right there. Well, a little higher. There you go. Good enough.
Oh.
Alright, and what's our last thing we're going to do, Willem?
We gotta put the line somewhere.
Yep, we got to connect our dots, right? That's a... No, make your arrows.
Oh, yeah.
You've been hanging. Come on, man. What? No, because it's... Oh, wait. It's
There you go. I tried, okay?
Oh, wait, it is positive.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's negative 4. Oh, it is a positive. We're going up 0.5.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. I
missed
erased it.
I missed it. Oh, well. All right, you're fine.
Go, there's a
You're-
go
you're
keep
good.
screaming over.
All right, I missed it. It's actually a positive because
That's
negative
my
over negative.
dot.
So my line is actually right here. That's where my dot is. My line's going to go like this. My bad. My bad. I mean, it was like that the whole time. I totally never said anything wrong. Gonna have to edit this video.
So bad.
Alright, that's it. So I want you to start on your exit ticket. If you haven't yet, I will turn on Secretive. And...
Goldie, I actually graphed both of them.
That's fine.
Bro, Mr. Golke, do not edit the video.
Why?
I don't think
Gotta
I
make myself
edited
look
the
good,
last
man.
one.
And you may listen to music. So your homework's up there. You may listen to music after you do problems 8, 9, and 10.
What the heck?
I want people to get started.
8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, you gotta do 8, 9, and 10 on the homework before you can get
Well, can
you
I go
listen to
back,
music.
bathroom now?
Trading was first.
I'm over
No.
8 on here, what the heck?
And I'm turning on Secretive right now.
Come on, Golke, you can't told you just like...
I know, I'm a monster making you do 3 whole problems.
Oh, wait, can I do that?
3 whole problems.
Is there quizzes?
Yes, but they're not in the grade book.
What, can I do